So you guys were I'm hearing a lot of you guys wanted a theme song shortened, so here we go. This girl reviews movies, games, and books. Sometimes she plays them. So does that, and when she does it with the cat, does that make her crazy? Does that make her crazy? Probably. So, it's shorter. There you go. Crazycatlady or Martha Butler does not own any trailers or pictures. I use them under fair educational for and entertainment purpose. Blade, just like Solly did. Well, those years ago. See? No, I don't want to do any more of it. Hi everyone, Martha here. So I have not. I know it's probably come out after Christmas is out. So it's kind of okay if I'm not doing one that's not directly related to Christmas. For my my last Christmas movies that I'm doing for this month, because this one is just barely related to Christmas, and I'm also gonna do episode 4 of What If with this episode. I haven't watched What's This For You, but I haven't watched it yet. So I don't know why is keep on getting people saying my audio is not good, but every time I listen to it, it's fine. Okay. So, yeah. My microphone's fine. I don't know why. But, anyway. This is for Anastasia. And my favorite movies. That was when I was a kid. Even though it's very insulting to a real-life person. Because none of it is true. So, if you don't know, okay, everything I might be saying is wrong right here, but, so, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. So, basically, Anastasia is about the second youngest, daughter of Nicholas II, Tsar of Russia, who was killed in 1916 or somewhere around that, because he wasn't real. He was not meant. He was not meant to be. He didn't want to be king. He was mostly just. He had a bad advisor, basically, who did crazy things with his wife. His name is Rasputin, and he tried to cure his son Lexi, who was supposed to be the next Tsar of Russia, but he had a disease where if you got like a paper cut, for example, and it would not stop bleeding. So he got injured, and they called Rasputin to cure the kid. He just gave him like aspirin, and it stopped him from bleeding, and that's why Rasputin was thought was a good man by Anastasia's mom, but he instead of just leaving right there, he continued getting advice, and maybe done something wrong to the wife and the daughters while Nicholas was doing off World War One, because this takes place during World War One, and then they end up getting sent off because the people because Joseph Stalin wanted to be the new leader of Russia, and they had a civil war, and the art is actually technically the own guards shot them, and Rasputin basically got poisoned, shot everywhere, and they threw him inside the river, and because it took forever to kill that guy, he was one hard man to kill, and so how people think that since Anastasia was like 17 when she died, they think that she should not have been killed with her parents. really she shouldn't have. None of them should be, because it's not their fault that their dad was not a proper czar. So, but, and there was people who were pretending to be her and her sisters and her brother. So she was they were only three daughters that were found with them, and Lexi and one of the daughters were missing, and since she was actually buried somewhere else, or one of the sisters was, and they did blood testing and found out that she was already there with her family. So that's basically what happened. If I am wrong, go ahead and correct me, but this is what I've learned from watching like history stuff a lot on YouTube and on the History Channel. So yeah. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's what I heard. So yeah. Anyway, now let's talk about what happened in this movie that is totally fictional, because Anastasia is the wrong age here in this movie. This all happened to her when she was like 17, not 8. So they made her younger in this movie when this happened to her. And she had, her grandma gave her like a music box that had, the only reason why I'm doing this is because of this song, Once Upon a December, and it's December. So that's the only reason why I can do this. And it's also cold in Russia. So yeah. So, Rasputin's to be technically already dead, because when the Russian revolutionary thing happened, he was already dead. So he should not be here. He did not cause any of this. But he got mad at them for basically for them kicking him out and trying to kill him, and he decided to curse them by making the people actually go after him and try to kill them, and also using demons. So yeah. And Dmitri helps Anastasia and her grandma get out, her grandma gets out by getting on a train, but Anastasia hits her head and forgets who she is, and ends up living the next 10 years at an orphanage. So it's 10 years later. So the movie first takes place in 1916. So now it's 1926, because it's now 10 years later. So everybody is thinking that Anastasia is still alive because blood testing sucks in 1926. So yeah. And so everybody's pretending to beat, a lot of women are trying to pretend to beat her to get rich. And Dmitri, who was working in the kitchen, and Vlad, who was one of who worked at the Royal Council, decide we're gonna pick a woman, pretend that she's Anastasia, and get rich. And they end up finding Anya, who's Anastasia, but she thinks she's Anya because she forgot who she was. She meets a dog named Puka, and she sings One Step at a Time. So, and one of the best songs in the movie. And then she goes, and she was supposed to go like work at a fish company, but she decides to go to St. Petersburg, to go to Paris, because the only thing that she remembers is what her grandma told her, and what her necklace, because she still is wearing a necklace that turns on the music box that has the song Once Upon a December on it. So when she gets there, we hear Dmitri doing auditions for Anastasia, but none of them are the right age or would fool the grandma. And so they end up, Anastasia goes inside the palace where they're having auditions, and like sees her picture when she was little, and start singing Once Upon a December. And the best part of the movie, when we see a bunch of like ghosts come from pictures, and she's like starting to dance with them, and then we see her kiss her dad, and I just love this part. That part looks so cool. And then Dimitri like tells her, "What are you doing here?" And then she's standing right by her younger self, and notice that her eyes are just like her younger self. So Dimitri decides, okay, you must be the Dowager princess because you look just like her. And they end up going on a train after Bardock, the Rasputin's pet that he probably didn't have in real life, a bat, still has the thing that made demons and made the Russian people go berserk. And then the things start coming out of the bottle, and he ends up taking it, like going for like some water thing, and bringing it to Rasputin, who is still alive, because as long as that bottle thing is not crushed, or as long as one of the Romanovs is still alive, he can still be alive even though he drowned. So yeah. And then we have another song that in here that's really good called In the Dark of the Night, who is not sung by Christopher Lloyd. Is sung by Jim Cummings, because apparently Christopher Lloyd can't sing. So they had somebody who can sound just like him sing the song for him. So yeah. And they end up having him send the demons to the train to crash the train, change their passports to a different color, so they would end up being kicked off the train if a train conductor found them. So they had to go to the Badger cart after Anya breaks Dimitri's nose, because they're trying to make these two love each other. And at first, people who usually hate each other before they love each other because they just met. But yeah, but she was trying to teach her how to be a Dowager princess, but because she was playing with the necklace, I don't know how that's not Dowager princessy. But anyway, so after we see the demons like break the train off from the other parts and made it where it's dangerous, where they had to blow, and they had to get a dynamite. There's a dynamite back in the train for some reason, and Dimitri trying to stop it because the demons break a bridge that connects when there's a cliff there, to stop the little part they have and make it slow down so they can jump off. And now they're stuck in the middle, nowhere in between Russia and Paris, so in the countries that are between those places, because Russia's up there, France is down there, so they have a long way to go. So they have to take a bunch of other stuff that they had to take, buses, bikes, get on a horse, and then by this whole entire time this is going on, Vlad says that we have to convince Sophie, who is Anastasia's cousin for her grandma, that she is Anastasia. So they have to teach her how to be royalty and remember everybody in her family and where they're from and stuff like that and what they have. Because she says something that I call his yellow hat, and Vlad says, I don't believe we told her that. So this song is called If I Can Learn to Do It, You Can Learn to Do It. You both feel it. Show yourself it's easy. And it's true. It's that one. And they end up getting on a boat, which really, they don't really need to. I guess it's faster to get there instead of having everything else go there, because they can't go on a train again. So they have him go on a boat to Paris. My my favorite part, and one of my favorite parts in this movie is right here, because if you know me, I'm not exactly a dress person. I'm a girl, but I don't like to wear dresses. So I like her comment when Dimitri buys Anastasia a dress, and she ends up like, "You bought me a tent." And he's like, "What are you looking for? The Russian circus! I think it's still in here!" I just love that line. Like, yes, it's a tent, not a dress! So, yeah. And, so he tries to teach her how to do a waltz. And, Vlad gets mad because... Well, he like sings like, "I should never let them dance because the way they're dancing makes them look like they're in love now." And, um... and they can't exactly fall in love because he's a commoner, she's royalty, yada yada. Even though now it's okay because William and Kate are married and they're not. She's not royalty. So yeah. So anyway, just had to somehow to make their relationship complicated. So it's nighttime, time for Rasputin to make another attempt on killing Anastasia. So what does he do? He gets inside of her head and tries to make her have a bad dream where she sees her little brother and they're going on like on a swimming trip. He's gonna make her jump off the boat. And he sees her dad and her sisters and her mom. And Puka has to go wake up Dimitri to stop her from jumping off the boat. And he does. And this part always creeps me out because how fast they make Nicholas look like a demon in this. So yeah. And he ends up hurting. And she wakes up. And then we have like the most gross part because Rasputin like chokes himself because he's so mad. And then Bartok throws the thing that keeps Rasputin alive. Rasputin catches it and tells him, "Do not destroy this because it's what's keeping me alive." And also Rasputin like goes inside of his own body with his head because he's like falling apart because he's dead. So yeah. And this is when he gets the idea that, okay, fine, I cannot kill her with a train. I cannot kill her with her drowning. I have to kill her myself. So he leaves Limbo somehow, and he goes up there. I know, okay, he is creepy, but the thing is, and Christopher Lloyd's doing a good job, but the fact is that these two don't really have any conversation with each other is what the problem is, because they meet each other once before he dies, and she's there when he is drowning. He grabs her neck, grabs her like ankle when she was like trying to escape to her with her grandma, and then he drowns. Then he spends the rest of the movie in limbo. So the weird thing is that these two don't really have much conversation with each other. So yeah, that's part of the problem. So yeah, and I think he's just not he's a good villain, but he's just not their connection is not used as much. So yeah, as it should be. So this is when we go and meet Sophie, who is told by the grandma not to let any more Anastasias come in because she's having her heart broken way too much for having fake ladies come and complain to be her granddaughter. So Sophie does not want to let Anastasia come see her grandma because of that. So she still tests her to find out who she is, and then she actually says a question that how did you escape, basically. And she tells Sophie that she escaped through a wall because a kitchen boy showed her how to get out. And the only one that would know that is actually real Anastasia, because Dimitri did not tell her that. And Dimitri was the one who helped her escape. So, and then we have a little number where they have to get ready for a Russian ballet in Paris. And because that's where because the grandma likes to go and see stuff that reminds her of home. And so they had to get her ready for it. And then we have another song where they show like a bunch of stuff that happened in Paris. Like a lady with a leopard or cheetah. And the thinker being made, but surely would be remade. And the Eiffel Tower. Really, Nala? You silly kitty. Say bye-bye, Nala. Anyway, they go to the ballet. Now it's time for Anastasia to convince her grandma, but this is when Dimitri has to admit that he was only really doing this for money, but now that he actually found her and loves her, he has to figure out that he has to leave now, even though they love each other. And so it started out as a lie, but it wasn't. So, and she does convince her grandma about it by knowing that she has like her perfume. And after Dimitri basically kidnaps her, brings her to Anastasia because she didn't want any more people to fool her because her heart's broken. And so her and Anastasia meet. They love each other now because she realized who she was, because she has the necklace that she gave to Anastasia when she was little, and she actually knew the song that they sang together. So yeah, Once Upon a December. But she offers the money to Dimitri, and Dimitri says, I don't want it because I want your granddaughter, but I can't ask for your granddaughter unless she forgives her for him lying to her. Because she did find out, because she overheard it when they were arguing about it. So this is when Rasputin tries to attack her again, after she decides, I'm going to go and be with Dimitri instead of staying with my grandma. So Apuka ends up leading her to Rasputin, and we have like a statue horse tack Dimitri, and like a little demon thing tack Puka, and makes where Anastasia and Rasputin have to fight, and Anastasia ends up breaking the thing that is keeping Rasputin alive. So, yep. And the movie ends after Anastasia decides to stay with Dimitri. So, I do like this movie. It's fine. It was directed by Don Bluth and Gary Goldman. And has Meg Ryan as Anastasia. It has John Kerster as Dimitri. It has Christopher Lloyd as Rasputin. It has Angela Lansbury as the grandma. It has Hans Zander as Bartok. And it has Kirsty Grammer as Vlad. And Bernadette Peters as Sophie. So, and this movie came out in 1997. Really, it's probably like one of the best movies that John Bluth made that made him the most money. So yeah, but it was one of his last movies that he got to make. So I'll see you guys. I'm probably gonna give this movie like a 9 out of 10. I know a lot of people say it's really just supposed to be like a rip-off of Disney movies, but really it's hard for him not to do something like this, since he was technically a Disney animator first before he went off and have his own company. So yeah. So it's kind of hard for him not want to go back to doing stuff like that after he tried to do his own thing. So I do like this movie. So Merry Christmas, everyone. I'm gonna go talk about What If Episode 4. I'm back. I finished watching the What If episode, and basically, what if Tony did not return to Earth in the end of the Avengers movie? So basically, this one is, and so he gets sent to what planet is this? Sagara, where Jeff Goldblum's in charge, and we know this is not Robert Downey Jr. This guy, this actor, just wish he was. You totally tell by the voice this is not him. It's not. Did you put eggnog in that?
What?
Did you put eggnog in there?
Yes.
Okay, good. Anyway, so basically we had to have a race instead of them doing the whole entire gladiator thing that they did in the third Thor movie. So we have Trog, Gamora here, Valkyrie. So pretty much everybody who's already here before Hulk gets there. And the Hulk's not there yet because that's not till Avengers 2. So he wouldn't be there yet. So I do like this one. It's fine. It's not as good as the last three. Because I just think some of these jokes don't land right. I mean, Jeff Goldblum's fine. But he's just playing a character. It's way too vain. And does not know anything that we do. He thinks a car is a chariot instead the other way around. Even though technically chariot was the first car in a way. So yeah, because the first thing that had wheels. Or wagon did. 1 to 2. And Tony has to race him in order to take over in order to beat the Grandmaster. Because the Grandmaster just wants to watch his subjects suffer for him. He's a terrible king. And he gets everybody's name wrong. And so he treats all his people that are supposed to all the subjects by prisoners. So he races him. We see him do a bunch of racing, and we have Gamora going after Tony because since Tony defeated Thanos here, but kind of not because technically they haven't met, so he hasn't beat him yet. He just beat his army and Loki. So yeah. So she wants to stop him, give him to her dad. But she ends up they'll race, and eventually he does convince her to go and fight her dad after they melt the Grandmaster, because they obviously think that they turn him to freaking. They reference Wizard of Oz, and they do the entire witch thing. He calls freaking Korg Mount Rushmore. So after they win the race, after we see him actually ride a chariot, then he makes his armor look like a car. If you remember Armin 2, he does know how to race pretty well. Because he races in that movie, but that's before this. That's after this, so yeah. I forgot which order these movies are since this is how long since I watched those ones. But, yeah. And they ends up winning. And then, after he convinces Gamora to go and beat his dad up, they melt him. This one's fine. I'm probably going to give this one just a 6 out of 10. I mean, this one's barely worth watching, really, because Jeff Goldblum's in it, but that's basically it. Everybody else is just not really doing that much. So I think this is technically the worst episode so far of the four. So I'll see you guys later. So now it's probably like near Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. So hopefully you guys had a good 2023. If you didn't, hopefully 2024 will be better for you. So happy New Year, guys. Bye bye.